Good afternoon there, ladies and gentlemen of the YTPC. That is, if you're on the East Coast here. This wonderful Saturday we've got going on. Down here in Florida, it's just absolutely gorgeous out. The trees have already started to grow. It's already green again. Everything, the maple trees have put on leaves, and it's just slightly chilly in the air. Now, what I've decided is today I'm going to smoke a bowl of some of this straight up English by Cornell and Deal. And from what I've read, the original rendition of this blend was made in 2016, and it contained red and bright Virginias, burley, and a healthy dose of Latakia, like 17% or something like that. Well, there was a lot of complaints that straight up Englishes don't have burley in them. Uh, and it said burley on the tin too, whereas these tins, I think they may have addressed that issue because on these tins it says an English blend done the traditional way, no topping, no added flavors, red and bright Virginias, and a healthy dose of Latakia straight up. No burley in that description. So I'm actually kind of excited, and I actually ordered 3 more tins of this, just for cellaring purposes, being it is a small batch blend. They probably won't produce it again, I would imagine. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what it's like here with just the red, the brights, and the Latakia. First thing we're greeted with is our little card here, hand blended for tobaccos for the discriminating smoker. Okay, it comes just pretty much dry, right? It comes perfect right out of the tin. But here you can see what it looks like. It's such an unnatural light. This lamp I have, I got to get a more blue light than that. More of a blue spectrum light. But seems to me like a lot of brights, a lot of reds, and a little, like a splash of Latakia. That's how that seems to me. And honestly, I knew that this was going to be perfectly smokable out of the tin. I just had a feeling, and I was close to opening it earlier because I just wanted something to smoke real quick without having to dry. But I wanted to wait for this, to do it on camera here. So, I'm just straight up gonna pack a bowl here, fresh out of the tin, and see what we get, because it seems just about right, moisture content wise. Seems like more or less a red Virginia blend with a red and bright Virginia blend with just I'm looking for the Latakia. There's not much of it. With just a splash of Latakia. There's some. But anyway, it looks like a reasonably delicious blend by Cornell and Deal, or at least a blend with some real potential. I mean, I love red and bright Virginias. I love red and bright Virginias, and I love Latakia. And remember, these tins have a year on them already. Almost a year, anyway. That first retro hail was pretty pungent there. Mm. Pretty nice. Not crazy complex, but just a nice plain all day English. A little bit of Latakia ends lends that smokiness to it, that touch of smokiness. You get some of the tanginess from the red Virginias. You get a tangy, toasty flavor. There's not much sweetness to it yet. I'm not picking up on the bright Virginias quite yet. It's more of the red Virginias and the Latakia. But I'm pretty confident this doesn't contain burley anymore. I think it's like it's like the exact flip side of the coin of Frogmorton. Being that instead of it being mostly Latakia with a splash of Virginia, it's mostly Virginia with a splash of Latakia, which is cool. This here is a blend. I can already tell where I would grab a can and head off to work. You know, this would be I'd just grab the can. It's great to smoke right out. It's not super wet or anything. I just grab a can and this would be, I'd smoke on this all day. This is a really easy to smoke blend, but there's enough complexity with that Latakia to keep it interesting all day. All in all, it's more like a Virginia blend, really, I would say. I mean, and you can see there, I can see the reds, and I can see the brights. It's cool. I mean, you can see the contrast between them. See, like, right, and Cornell and Deal, they're right there in South Carolina, where all these red Virginias are produced. I mean, that's so. This particular piece is so red. It's almost fire engine red. I mean, that's how red it is. Some of the Virginia, and then some is really nice and bright and golden. Can you see the? It's not really a ribbon cut. It's more of like a coarse cut, I guess you'd say. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I would say it's a little bit more of a ribbon coarse cut type deal. And I'll tell you, I've got an empty stomach right now, so I would say the nicotine isn't crazy high. At least I'm not feeling it yet. And sometimes I do have a craving for red and bright Virginias. But I smoke a lot of Englishes, and I feel like this is going to fit a niche really nicely. Sometimes I smoke like Navy rolls or Scottish flakes, something like that. I'll smoke like one bowl of that a day, a bowl of some Virginias a day. And the rest lately has been Englishes and Balkans. And I could really see this finding a place right in between there, and I'll tell you, it's a shame that they don't continue to that they're not going to produce this on a regular basis. And I'm thinking, I bet you they use that same batch of red Virginias that they produced the Carolina Red small batch and the San Sepulcro small batch. I'd be willing to bet that they use the same Red Virginia because I'm getting a lot of those same tangy flavors. Surprisingly complex for just a three component blend. Um, and I think those Red Virginias are right on point. I think Virginia lovers would really like this as a crossover. Um, I think that Cornell and Deal, especially with their location being right in the Carolinas, that they are going to get the bulk of the high grade Red Virginias from now on. I think now that McClellan's is out of the picture, we can look forward to higher quality um, blends out of Cornell and Deal, or not higher quality blends, but blends that we already know and smoke with higher quality leaf. And I think that's a win-win for us. I think that's a winning thing. Because Cornell and Deal is the avant-garde. They're the they're the forefront of tobacco production nowadays. They're constantly coming out with new blends, and they have a whole huge repertoire of blends. And it's stuff like this that will really earn them good reputations. You know, making simple, delicious blends out of high quality leaf. And these are small batch blends, you know. These are, how many, 2,400 tins of this were produced. You know, so it's not some huge mass produced tobacco blend, you know, or with it. I'm sure they use probably, you know, scarce tobaccos to make it with because there's so few that they make. You know, it's a 2 ounce tin, 2 ounce times 2,400. That means that they only had 4,800 ounces of this particular batch. 4,800 ounces. I don't know how much, what that comes out to in pounds, but you know, off the top of my head. But you know, that's not a whole lot. It really isn't. I think the Latakia is starting to add a bit of a creaminess to the smoke. It's not just tangy like a Red Virginia blend. It's got a creamy, slightly smokiness to it, slight pungency, if you will, in the nasal passages. It's like an American English or something. It's like it has a very Virginia-y feel to it. I mean, it's an English, you know, being that it has that bit of Latakia in it with that creaminess, but it has a real stout, tangy Virginia base to it. And I was reticent to buy another 3 tins because I only had about 60 on hand, but I figured it's already a year old, it's no longer produced. But now I'm really pleased. I'll have 5 tins in the cellar and a tin to enjoy for a while yet, because I'm pretty sure that this is probably going to age stupendously. Being that the bulk of it is red and bright Virginias, it's probably going to age as good as any Virginia blend out there. Cool thing about Cornell and Deal, they remind me of how Apple used to be. They come out with products that we didn't even know we wanted. come out with blends that had never occurred to us that we would love, you know, and combinations that we never thought we would love, and ideas that we never had would have occurred to us were awesome. And that I'm grateful for. I'm so glad that we have Cornell and Deal here in the U.S. But anyway, I think this is an excellent blend. I'm really glad that I got 6 tins total. You know, enough for me to enjoy for quite some time. Has a really nice tangy sweetness now to it, with a creaminess that Latakia adds. And to me, this is a straight up English, like just a straight up mild all day, no frills, no fanciness. Um, it's an English. It's as sparse as an English can be. You know, they used as little components as possible without it not being an English. You know, for an English, this is as stripped down a blend as you can get. And I think that's why straight up English is a perfect fit for it. Can't be confused with a Balkan. It could only be an English, you know. It's just a straight up, no frills, no fanciness English blend. And that I really like it for that. And I'm glad that they decided to omit the burley on this batch, even though I didn't try the first batch, so I really couldn't tell you if it affected it, but really burley doesn't belong in an English blend, in my opinion, not typically. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off there and let y'all go. I hope you enjoyed the little mini first impression that I did here, and or not mini, it's 17 minutes, but I hope y'all enjoyed it, and until next time, Treetop Piper over and out.